Hello and a very good afternoon to all our viewers who are joining me in this live interaction on Facebook and YouTube pages of News9. And today I will be speaking about a coalition of countries who have now agreed to sign the COVAX deal, which is a very important and it is also a landmark deal which will enable the rapid and also equitable global distribution of any new coronavirus vaccines to 3% of participating countries' populations in order to protect the vulnerable healthcare systems, the frontline healthcare workers, and those in social care settings as well. So the COVID-19 vaccine allocation plan, which is co-led by the World Health Organization and known as COVAX, has been set up in order to ensure that the research, purchase and also the distribution of any new vaccine is shared equally between the world's richest countries and also those in the developing world as well. So close to 64 higher income countries have already joined COVAX, which includes commitments from 35 economies as well as the European Commission, which will procure doses on behalf of the 27 EU member states, plus Norway and also Iceland, with 38 more of them expected to join in the coming days. Now, in order to give us a few more insights, we have with us Dr. Sitesh Roy joining us live from Mumbai. Many thanks for joining me in this live interaction, Dr. Sitesh. And my first question to you is, why is this considered as a landmark deal and also how important is it?
So Deepak, this is certainly a very big announcement for the whole world because with the fear of vaccine nationalism, where certain countries wanted to procure all the doses only for themselves and their populations, a coalition like this led by the WHO gives every country at least a fighting chance to get some vaccines for the critical services in their countries and to have a uniform distribution of the vaccine around the world, because it's like if your own house is safe but your neighbors are not, then you are still at risk.
That's true.
Kind of makes it certain that people who are around the world, and whether they are in the economically well-to-do nations or the not so well-to-do nations, would all get the vaccine. 3% seems like a very small number to begin with, but still it amounts to millions of doses per country. And I think that will also be determined based on the population of the country. So all of that will make the distribution of vaccines a lot more equitable. So I do believe that this is a very big announcement and I'm very happy to hear it myself also.
Also, Doctor, now what are the advantages of this deal, especially for the low-income countries, or rather I would like to say as developing countries? What are the advantages that this particular deal, entitles them to?
So there were chances prior to this deal that if 100 million doses were ready, then the entire 100 million doses would be picked up by the rich countries, if you want to call it that way, or the developed nations. And the still developing nations would probably be left with nothing or very few of the vaccines. And hence now with this kind of a agreement and a coalition in place, the chances of that happening, where the countries that would not have the financial leverage to buy the vaccines at a high price from the companies that are developing or making them, will now have a chance that because WHO will make will oversee it with Gavi, make sure that there are vaccines that are available even to the developing nations. It may be possible for people there to expect, even if it's the healthcare workers, the frontline healthcare workers and the social caregivers, to make sure that they are at least protected so they can continue to serve the population should the others who have not received the vaccine still continue to get unwell or sick due to the virus. So I think that this just ensures that there is, as has been repeatedly said, a more equitable distribution of the vaccine is possible through this coalition.
Also, Doctor, now I would like to ask you a rather political question. Why do you think that China and US are skipping this particular conversation?
As we can expect, having control. So, several of the companies, you can say, or several of the institutions that are developing the vaccines. So, out of the 6 vaccines in the running, at least 4 or 5 which are in phase 3 trials would fall into these countries, and they are clearly of the opinion that they want to protect their people and their borders and their economy before they will think about the world.
Okay.
I think it's each one to themselves, and the only hope is that the WHO, where possible and where capable of negotiating, will negotiate with the other companies who are in the forerunning with phase 2 trials or phase 1 trials and try to get the vaccines. As they have said, their goal is to get about 2 billion doses by the end of 2021. So it still remains to be seen how and where that will be done and applied. But clearly these nations do believe, so US and China may think that they want to protect their people first before they will start thinking about the world.
Doctor, do you think that the World Health Organization should in fact approach the US and China and probably ask them to join this particular deal? Because like you mentioned, most of the vaccine developers are part of these two countries, and the entire world might miss out on the vaccines if these two countries do not participate.
I think that WHO should make every effort, and so should each country in its own political machinery and mechanism try to connect with the manufacturers in these countries, and those manufacturers might have a certain proportion that they may keep for their parent country, but can still distribute the rest of it. So I think that it doesn't mean that nothing would come out from those companies to the rest of the world. But I do believe that wherever it's possible, helping everyone see the light of day, that we are in this together, the whole world being a family and the whole world being connected has been very clearly shown by SARS-CoV-2 virus and COVID-19, which has not seen race, it has not seen color, caste, creed, it has not seen financial capability, it has not seen borders. It has gone through the world like wildfire, showing us that no matter how much we try to draw artificial borders around the world, we are still one world and one people. And if this knowledge and if this sense can come into the people around the world, I think there will be a more equitable distribution of vaccines when it does come out, so that people can be safe and protected. Because even if one country is completely protected, and if they have people coming in and out of other countries, they are still just as exposed, because no vaccine, there have been rather very few vaccines have had 100% efficacy, Deepak. So even if a SARS-CoV-2 vaccine is there tomorrow, I would be very surprised if its efficacy is only 50 or 60%. So even if you gave it to your entire population, there'll still be 50% people who will be at risk. And if there are people coming in and out of your borders, and if there is still world trade and everything, travel going on, tourism going on, then unless your neighbors are protected, you are not safe. So I think everyone needs to recognize this, no matter how powerful or rich or in control of the vaccine they might be, and work on a more universal level for everyone to get vaccinated. And I think that's where everyone's safety and final benefit will lie.
Right, Doctor. Like you said, we hope sense prevails on US and also China. And many thanks for joining me in this live interaction. Well, that was Dr. Sitesh Roy giving us his insights and also his opinions about China and US skipping the COVAX deal, or rather not even making an attempt to sign the agreement with the WHO, because each vaccine, each country which is below the developmental stage needs the help of the developed countries, and China and US skipping this particular deal could probably impact the recovery rate around the world, because most of the countries, like Dr. Sitesh Roy mentioned, most of the countries have some of the major vaccine developers, and some of them are even front runners in the current developmental stage. So we hope that sense prevails on China as well as the US in the coming days, and we hope that they also agree to this COVAX deal, which will also benefit the entire world and also give a fighting chance to all the underdeveloped, or rather the poor countries who are in need of a helping hand. So with that, it's a wrap on this live interaction. If you guys have liked the information that I've shared with you all, please do like and subscribe to News 9, and also drop in your comments and opinions. In the meantime, also like, share and subscribe to News 9 pages on all social media platforms. Thank you for watching.